Miami's Dewan Hernandez ruled ineligible. If you thought the NCAA had a monopoly on stupid eligibility decisions, you were very, very wrong. ESPN has a story up today on Maury Davenport, one of the best women's high school players in the country. She's a top 15 prospect that is already committed to Rutgers and spent last August playing with USA Basketball, where she helped lead Team USA to a gold medal in Mexico City at the FIBA Americas U18 Championship. But it was that trip with USA Basketball that cost her. USA Basketball is allowed to pay its athletes for participating in events such as this. Davenport was sent a check for $857.20, which is a nice chunk of change for an 18-year-old but hardly a life-changing amount of money. But according to Alabama high school rules, no athlete is allowed to receive more than $250. USA Basketball typically makes a call to the high school federation of the players that participate in their events before sending out a check. They did not in this case, and they did not realize their mistake until November. When they did, they alerted Davenport's school, Henderson High School in Troy, Alabama, and Davenport sent the money back. But that did not matter to the ASA, Alabama High School Athletic Association. Since Davenport initially accepted the money, she was ruled ineligible for her entire senior season. In all my years with USA Basketball, we have never had this happen before, Craig Miller, a USA Basketball spokesman that has worked there for 29 years, told ESPN. It was not a purposeful error. The NCAA allows us to pay athletes, who have no remaining high school eligibility, a small amount for the sake of representing the USA. Typically, if we have an athlete with high school eligibility remaining, we will check with their athletic association because the rules are different in each state. But we didn't realize, Davenport had high school eligibility remaining, and it was absolutely our mistake. Let me be clear here, this does not in any way affect Davenport's NCAA eligibility. For context, former Florida State guard Leticia Romero was paid €29,000 when she helped Spain win the silver medal in the 2016 Olympics, and she played in 2016-17 with no issues. Katie Ledecky's NCAA eligibility is intact after she got paid six figures for her performances as a swimmer in those same Olympics. This is something the NCAA is fine with. This is an issue with the ASA, who is punishing this girl because they did not know the rules and trusted that USA Basketball did. Keep in mind what we're talking about here, Davenport was overpaid by $607.20. That's a relatively inconsequential amount of money which has already been paid back to USA Basketball. This was not something that was done intentionally. USA Basketball made a mistake by not calling the ASA to make sure this was okay. The Davenports made a mistake when they didn't double-check to make sure that it was okay to accept this money. Everyone acknowledges that. And the ASA should acknowledge that continuing to punish this young woman for it is a mistake as well. Do the right thing. Free Maury. Late in the second half of Samford's 81-72 loss to East Tennessee State on Thursday night, Samford head coach Scott Padgett and longtime official Carl Hess got into a verbal altercation that resulted in Hess charging Padgett and confronting him while he was with his team. The incident occurred as play was stopped with 1:57 left in regulation. The officials had been reviewing video of a separate confrontation between a Samford player and an ETSU player when Hess, after going back and forth with Padgett, ran up and got directly in his face. Padgett, according to local reporters, began waving down John Iamarino, the Southern Conference commissioner that happened to be in the crowd last night. Hess was eventually walked out of the Samford huddle by a Samford player. "Are you stepping to me right now?" Tense moment tonight between official and Samford head coach, leading to some great post-game sound. Kane O'Neill, at WJHL_Kane, "I've never seen an official charge a coach," Padgett said. "I literally said, 'Are you stepping at me right now?' That's what I think's hilarious. It's not a real world out there because a guy like that stepping at me is not realistic. I mean, if we're out on the street, he's running the other way just if he sees me walking. I'm 6'9", probably 280 right now. Not a lot of people step to me. I think it was kind of an unprofessional move." Kind of? Let's just say that Carl Hess no longer works in the ACC and the SEC. Iowa is on the verge of trailing by 17 points in a Big Ten road game for the 11th consecutive time. Michaelis, Atlas, Waco, Texas, AP, Kalani Brown had 20 points and 17 rebounds as number 8 Baylor won over a top-ranked team for the first time, beating UConn 68-57 Thursday night and handing the Huskies their first regular season loss in more than 4 years. The Huskies, 11-1, hadn't lost a regular season game in regulation since a 76-70 home loss to Baylor in a numbers 1 versus 2 matchup on February 18, 2013, a span of 163 games. Their only regular season loss since then was 88-86 in overtime at Stanford on November 14, 2014. They had won 126 consecutive regular season games, 58 of them non-conference matchups. UConn is the only number 1 team Baylor has ever faced in Coach Kim Mulkey's 19 seasons. The Lady Bears had lost each of the previous 3 such meetings, including UConn's last visit to Waco nearly 5 years ago. The Huskies had their only lead at 2-0 when Crystal Dangerfield scored in the opening minute of the game. Chloe Jackson added 13 points, 8 assists and 7 rebounds for Baylor, 10-1, while Nalisa Smith had 12 points. Juicy Landrum scored 11 points while Lauren Cox added 9 points and 7 rebounds. Nafesa Collier had 16 points and 11 rebounds for UConn, while Katie Lou Samuelson also had a double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds. But the 2 seniors were a combined 8 of 34 shooting. Dangerfield had 11 points and Megan Walker 10. Big picture UConn, Gino Arima's team was coming off tough wins at Oklahoma and California, and after both games the coach talked about those kinds of games were how the majority of the world lives. This time, they couldn't pull off a late comeback. The Huskies shot only 29%, 20 of 68, and had their season low in points. Baylor, the Lady Bears have won 28 consecutive home games, and extended their non-conference home winning streak to 45 games since a home loss to UConn on January 13, 2014. Up next UConn, which hasn't lost an American Athletic Conference game in 5 full seasons in the league, opens conference play Sunday at Houston. Baylor, which last season won its 9th Big 12 title, opens league play Sunday at Texas Tech. West Lafayette, Indiana, AP, Carson Edwards scored 16 of his 21 points in the first half and Purdue beat 25th-ranked Iowa 86-70 on Thursday night. Matt Harms had 14 points and Aaron Wheeler added 10 for the Boilermakers, 9-5, 2-1 Big Ten, who have won 3 straight for the first time since starting the season 4-0. Tyler Cook had 24 points, Isaiah Moss scored 13 and Ryan Kriener finished with 10 for the Hawkeyes, 11-3, 0-3, still searching for their first conference victory this season. Purdue improved to 9-1 in its last 10 home games against Iowa. The Boilermakers hold a 90-76 series advantage, winning 15 of 23 meetings during Coach Matt Painter's tenure. In last season's lone matchup, the Boilermakers made a Big Ten record 23-pointers to win 87-64. This time, it was all-around efficiency and scoring depth that made the difference. Purdue shot 53.2% and was well above 60% until the final minutes. The Boilermakers bench boosted one of the nation's most potent offenses as the reserves outscored their Hawkeyes counterparts 39-10. The teams traded the lead early in the first half until Purdue got rolling. A 9-2 spurt sparked by Harms snowballed into a 14-3 run and a 28-18 cushion with 7:47 left in the first half. Purdue's lead reached 26 in the second half. The Boilermakers shot 63.3% from the field to take a 52-35 halftime lead. Big picture Iowa, a downward spiral continues for the Hawkeyes, who have dropped from number 15 to number 25 in the AP poll since losing to Wisconsin on November 30. Iowa remains without its second leading scorer, forward Luka Garza, who averages 12.7 points per game. He missed a 3rd straight game with an ankle injury. Purdue, the Boilermakers are surging at the right time. Purdue defeated its second straight ranked opponent, including a 62-60 victory over Maryland on December 6, and pushed its home winning streak to 9. Now, the Boilermakers need to play the same way on the road, where they are 0-3 this season to go with 2-2 at neutral sites. Purdue is on the road for 3 of its next 5 games. Up next Iowa, hosts number 24 Nebraska on Sunday. Purdue, at number 8 Michigan State on Tuesday.